The King and Queen are reportedly keen to stay in their residence at Clarence House despite Queen Elizabeth spending her reign at Buckingham Palace. King Charles doesn't want to move into Buckingham Palace as his permanent royal residence, an expert has claimed. Since acceding to the throne, it has been widely reported that Charles wishes to remain at Clarence House rather than move into the palace, which was the home of Queen Elizabeth for most of her reign. Instead, the newly crowned king is expected to split his time between the royal residences around the country. Editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine Ingrid Seward said the king may have to move into Buckingham Palace in the end, but added, "I don't think he wants to. Buckingham Palace is so huge and impersonal and red, with red carpets and curtains. It's not his style. He may decide that it should be available to the public all year round." From Queen Elizabeth's coronation in 1953 until her death last year, Buckingham Palace served as her primary residence, but it was not the only place she called home. Balmoral Castle in Scotland was said to be the Queen's favourite place and where she felt most at home. In her final years, she spent a lot of time at Windsor Castle with the Duke of Edinburgh during the pandemic. Over Christmas, Her Majesty would then be joined by the rest of the royal family at Sandringham in Norfolk. As King Charles is likely to decide to live elsewhere, 775-room Buckingham Palace could be opened up to the public for much longer. The castle features 19 staterooms, 240 bedrooms, 78 bathrooms and 92 offices, but is currently undergoing a £369 taxpayer-funded million refurbishment after ministers said the building required an urgent overhaul to avoid potential fires or flood damage due to not having been upgraded since the 1950s. Following that, a source close to the king told the Sunday Times suggested it could become a gallery and president's guesthouse. Traditionally, the staterooms and gardens have only been open to the public for only 10 weeks a year while the Queen spent the summer at Balmoral. The source added, "The royal collection is one of the world's great private art collections and it would be a fantastic way to have it be seen more widely. They wouldn't need to look outside for loans. They could put on a lifetime of exhibitions just from the collection." Simon Thurley, chairman of the National Lottery Heritage Fund and former chief executive of English Heritage, told the paper, "I would absolutely anticipate it being open more under the king than it was before. It is pretty well set up, it has a good shop and the Queen's gallery is excellent. It is a case of weaving opening hours around what has to happen there." Earlier this year, the king reportedly asked his brother Prince Andrew to vacate one of the royal residencies on the Windsor estate. Andrew has lived in Royal Lodge with his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson for over 20 years, but now Charles wants them to move out to make way for the Prince and Princess of Wales. Instead, Charles is keen for Andrew to move to nearby Frogmore Cottage, the former home of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.